Everyone, my name is Michael DeWitt. Thanks for coming today. I'll be talking about my life and more importantly my family and how they've shaped me to become who I have become today. I'm going to talk about a little bit about myself first, and then I'm going to talk about 5 people in my family, 3 people that we had to do biographies on and interviews to learn more about them, and then I'm also going to talk about my parents just because they mean a lot to me. But I was born on July 6, 1994. I'll be turning 23 this summer. I'm from Millersburg, Ohio, which is in Holmes County and is known as Amish country. It's got the largest population of Amish people in the world, actually. And no, I'm not Amish. I get that question after I say that a lot, but not Amish. So I'm gonna start off after that with talking about my family. Whoops. Okay. All right. There we go. My family dynamics, a little different than most people. I don't have like a picture of my whole family together because my parents got divorced when I was 5 years old. Before they got divorced though, they had me and my 2 other full siblings right there in the middle, McKenna and Merrick. And then once my dad remarried, they had my first half-sister, Maddie. And then my mom has my 2 littlest half-sisters right there, McKaylin on the left and McKinley on the right. And that's kind of all of us together there. But I'm the oldest. As you can see, when I say I'm the oldest, I have 4 sisters. They're all my sisters. I don't say they're my half-sisters because they're just my sisters. But my grandparents, I have 7 because of the divorces in my family, which is kind of different, I guess. But 3 of them are step-parents, or step-grandparents, I should say, and they are all pretty healthy still to this day. So I consider myself pretty lucky for that because a lot of people, don't even have any of their grandparents left. But also, I'm soon to be an uncle in November. My sister, she's only 1 year younger than me, but she's kind of got her life together a little more than me. She didn't go to college, but she has a fiance, and she's going to have a baby in November, so that's kind of exciting to look forward to. This was my dad's side, kind of a little more on us. That's my stepmom. Her name's Monica Pyre. My dad remarried her about a year or 2 after his divorce. They had my first half-sister in 2002. Her name's Maddie, and that's her right there, like I said before. But this was kind of one of the coolest pictures we ever took. This is a tree fell over our pond at my house, and we all crawled out there, and my sister's fiance was there, and we kind of made him take a picture of us, and we were all like giving him crap because he wasn't in the picture. And so we all kind of were smiling, which it was just fun. Alright, so with my mama, yes, I call her my mama because I'm a mama's boy, I always have been. Her name's Tanya Lee Morrison. She was born in December 17th, 1975. She's a very independent, strong woman. She's always been by herself for like most of the time. She's taught me to just love our family and just you gotta be able to love yourself before you can like be with others and things like that, which are very helpful. And she actually recently just got engaged to someone who treats her really good and treats my sisters good, so I'm pretty happy for that. That wedding will be in July, so I'm pretty excited. And on to my father. His name's Michael Cardaway Jr. Yeah, I'm named after him, but I didn't get the same middle name as him. People often ask, like, did that upset me or anything, which no, I didn't really care because my middle name is who I am, and I don't need that to make me someone else. But he was born on May 5th, 1970. He's very intelligent. That's kind of where I got most of my smartness from. Him and his sisters are the only other ones in my family to go to college, so I'm like the next person who's done it. Very funny. Gets that from his dad, my grandpa, which I'll talk more about him later. But my dad's the head nurse of the psychiatric unit at Heartland Behavioral Health Center, and he went to Bowling Green State University, and he's worked as a nurse since 1992, so like 25 years this year actually. And he's pretty high up in his field and well respected. He actually just now started going to grad school to get his master's degree and something on more of the business and administration aspect of the medical field rather than just like the medical aspect. But one of the main things he taught me was to work hard, good things will happen, and have fun while doing that. I learned growing up that this can be applied to sports and life in general. Very thankful for that. It's kind of like my motto that I kind of go by, I guess. Work hard and good things will happen. But This was kind of when we were younger. This is my pond again, you can kind of see, and kind of just to describe how I am a little more. I grew up here, like growing up, us four, we were outside here all the time, swimming, fishing, catching all kinds of stuff, critters, and that's why I'm a biology major, so I'm real big in that stuff. And because of his psychology that he did, that's my minor here, so that's kind of how he's influenced me with my whole education. On to my first biography that I had to do. With my mom's dad, and his name's Thomas Keith Morrison, which my mom gave me his first name as my middle name. And he was born on November 11, 1952. He's the youngest of 9 siblings. His oldest brother here was 26 years older than him, and he had said how his older brother felt like more like a dad to him than his actual dad did, because his dad was so much older, he was more like a grandpa. And that's my grandpa right there. He's the youngest. He's about 17 in that picture. And after interviewing him, and knowing like all of my great aunts and uncles, I figured out like my grandpa is about the craziest of them all. He's very fun, likes to hang out in his garage and put down some whiskey, and it's pretty fun to hang out with him when he gets feeling pretty good. He tells me some pretty funny stuff. But he went into the Army when he was 18. Him and his buddies were out, and they were having too much fun one night and were throwing bottles at stuff and breaking stuff, so they kind of got in trouble. And my grandpa went up to the judge and asked if he enlisted into the Army, if they would drop the charges. And luckily they said yes, so my grandpa just went to the Army. For 2 years, it was during the end of Vietnam. He never had to go over there, but he trained to be an Army tank driver. After Vietnam, he did almost have to get deployed to the Middle East, like when all the Desert Storm and stuff started to begin over there. It was like something with in the Israel Holy Lands when there was a fight or something. I forget exactly, but he never actually had to go over there, so he was pretty glad, because he was pretty scared when they said that he maybe had to go over there. But he married my grandma on Valentine's Day in 1975. And when I look at this picture, I kind of look at my grandma and look at him, and I'm like, wow, Grandpa, how'd you do that? Because my grandma was a beautiful woman, and he was just kind of a goofball, I guess. But that's pretty much all on him. His ancestral roots, which I got through research I've done in this course from Ancestry.com, mostly English and German, which he was kind of reluctant to accept this, because he has always thought he's just like mostly Irish, which I did find that he is Irish and Scottish, but it's only a little bit, and so he's kind of iffy about accepting that fact. But it was cool to tell him that and learn that stuff about him, because he never knew. On to his wife, which is Tacey Lee Morrison. Her maiden name's Khan. Her real name spelled out there looks like Tasney, but it's Tasney, and it comes from her ancestor roots. And she has Hawaiian and Portuguese in her, a little bit of French and Irish, but mostly English. But the fact that with the Hawaiian and Portuguese, I've always been super interested in my own family history, just because that was like a little unique, and I just have always liked that. So it's cool to learn the names of those people and like know that for sure that I am that. Those are my roots. But she was born on October 14th in 1956, and she's always spoiled me the most. I mean, that's what grandma was for. I was her first grandkid, and she said like when my mom had me, everything else like stopped. Like she put everything for her grandkids. Something about her that kind of put for me into perspective how she is as a person. 'Cause she's just always happy and super and loving of our family and always trying to bring us together. She lost her dad and her grandpa in a car wreck when she was 7.5 years old, and when I asked her like who made her who she was, it was her dad, because for her whole life he would be everything for her. She was a daddy's girl, and then he got in a car wreck and died, so she just wanted to make him proud, which was kind of shocking to hear. Like I never really knew that before. And then I found out she lost her mother when she was 18 years old. And actually her dad and grandpa were on their way to get golf clubs for her mom because they loved golfing, but they ended up getting in a car wreck, and they both died like instantly. So when her mother died, she was golfing, and she hit a ball across the road and went across the road to get it, hit it back on the green, and then when she came back, a car hit her and killed her instantly. So golfing, not really something that I'm really interested in doing because of that reason right there. But it was kind of cool to hear that, and kind of sad too. But on to my last biography I did is of my dad's dad. His name's Michael Carl DeWitt Sr. He was born on October 10th, 1950. Funniest person I know. His humor, he's somewhat of a hippie, I guess. He grew up in those decades, and he just is really funny. Things I learned from him and kind of got from him and my dad are charming, the work ethic, and the friendliness. And that all comes from my grandpa's mom's side, which I didn't know that because I thought the funniness came just from the DeWitt name just because it was my grandpa. But it was actually on, so it wasn't. He actually told me that the other DeWitts are more laid back and more serious, which is a little bit more how I am. Not as funny and like crazy as he is, and my dad and my brother, which as you can see in this picture, they're all about the same. And then I'm like significantly taller than them. We always joke that I got my tallness from the milkman because we don't know really where it came from. But yeah, so my grandpa, when he was 17 years old, he knocked up the sheriff's daughter of my hometown. And so yeah, this was before he even graduated. And so he wasn't going to have a kid before he was married, so he got married before he was 18 too. And actually his wife got kicked out of high school, but he didn't get kicked out of high school. He just got kicked out of the basketball team, but his wife got kicked out of school, so it kind of shows you how different time it was. But he got divorced after 13 years, and he said when I talked to him that he didn't want a divorce. It took him 4 years to get over it, which I never really knew that, so that was something. But he remarried a woman named Miriam Creisy, and she's one of my step-grandparents. And when they came together, they started doing a lot of foster parenting, which when I talked to him about it, he said it was something that he felt like he regretted because he felt like he was spending so much time with foster kids rather than his grandkids. And to me, I didn't really care about that. I thought it was really cool that he did that because it helped those kids, and I got to see those things, and it helped me want to maybe like do those things and help people like that in that sort of area. His ancestry roots, the DeWitt name, my last name, it originates from the Netherlands. I traced that back to a guy named Barnett DeWitt in like the 1600s from the Netherlands. So that was cool to know where my last name came from. I never knew that before. And he has a little bit of German, a little bit of French, and then on his mom's side there was a loss of records, so I literally had nothing on his mom's side. There was nothing on Ancestry, so I don't know if there was something like a fire, but I just had a lack of information on his mother's side. And that's him right there with his oldest and youngest, and that's my dad. That's normal. But a few things that I've done so far and what I plan on doing, some memories of my life and stuff. Middle school, I had the biggest food fight in my middle school's history, and it was pretty epic, not gonna lie. It was pretty fun. Played basketball. I was very popular, had friends in every different group of people. I broke all of my high school's three-point shooting records. And my 3Fs, I love my family, my friends, and food. So my experience at Mount, like I said, I'm a biology major. I'm a double minor in psychology and art. I decided to double minor in art about halfway through because I really enjoyed art. I'm an intramural sports champion, and come to Mount, you gotta be a Chives goer, so always go there. And then plans after, I'm gonna move home, work at my local street department, helping my community just for the summer, kind of unwind from school a little bit, and then do some of my own hobbies and look for a job I can get with my degree, get some work and experience. And I think maybe someday I really feel like I would go to graduate school to pursue something in the medical field, just because the way I could help people in the medical field, and I'm just super interested in the body and have had influence through the medical field throughout my life. So someday I think I'll end up in grad school. Kind of some concluding thoughts about how my family's really turned me into who I am. I do everything to make them proud, to essentially, especially for my siblings, because I want to set the bar for them, and you know, show them that they can do whatever they want, basically. Everyone has contributed to who I am that I talked about, from even my littlest sisters to my oldest grandparents. I've had ups and downs and bad and good with all of them, and my relationships with them now are really good, and I'm excited to move home. Some people in my, oops, that was not so bad. Some people in my family battle mental health problems. They have some anxiety issues, depression, so I've always been like a strong advocate of, especially this year, I took a Movies and Madness course that looked at this a lot, and it's something that I really try and help people with, because I don't have those problems, and I constantly have to monitor my family and help them get through those things. Because of the stuff I've learned, I'm able to help them, so that's something that I always kind of have to deal with them. So that, and these are my references, and Ancestry, and that's it.